Good morning, friends. Welcome to Knits by Scent. This is Cynthia. This is an update video of my weaving and spinning during the tour season. I am holding my camera with a little tripod thing, but I apologize if it gets a little shaky. I'm going to put it on my stand, but right now I'm in my weaving room, so I'm going to start in here. Let me turn my camera around. All right, so don't need that there. All right, so this is my double wide blanket, my 48-inch. As you can see, I got a really step back 48-inch loom, and well, it's going. I'm making progress. I've advanced it. I don't know how many times now. I just work on it a little bit at a time because it's a process. I'm not sure. I might show you how I weave a pick on this video. I'm not sure yet, but anyway, it's been a bit challenging. Of course, tension is always a thing, and I do have another video of how I set all this up and some of the challenges I had with that. And I think I did do a couple of pics on that video, and I think I can add, because it's on my camcorder, so I think I'll add it onto that, and then you'll see how the process of me weaving with my 48-inch shuttle sticks I decided to use, and I'll explain that later. Anyway, so there are definitely some boo-boos in here. Some, what we call, for those of you who don't weave, floats. There's quite a few. There's some down below. There are more, corrected weave than there is incorrect weave. But we're going to call that just character in my design. That's what we're going to do. We're going to call it that. Oh, this, hold on. See how that pulled tight. I must have caught the string somehow. Loosen that up. But yeah, and there is down at the beginning, because I could feel through the 2 layers of the blanket, and I was checking, and there was, I can't really do it right now, but there were some strings in this purple area that it ended up in the wrong layer. Like it should have been, I don't know, for the B stick, and it kept getting, no matter what I kept doing, when I thought I fixed it, I didn't fix it. So when I finally did fix it, I actually crossed the string over to the other side of the blanket, and I'm like, when I realized it was like several rows, too many rows later, and I was like, you know what? I'll deal with it when I cut it off the blanket, off the loom. So anyway, yeah, this is gonna take a while. This is gonna be a slow going project. Kind of has to be for the nature of it. Yep. So that's where we are with that. And last night I started doing not this shawl. This one still needs to be done too, but I had purchased one of these doodads early on in the weaving process. I should put my watch on. And I didn't like it. I'm sure it was user error, without a doubt, But then I went back and I was like, let me try it again. And so I'm glad I did, because I had twisted, I think 4 of these wraps last night. I just twisted them. I still have to cut them. This one has a lot of ends to deal with. This one still needs to be done. So it made the process go by much faster, because the first one I did it by hand. And then it's like, oh, duh, let me go get that and see, let me try it again. And so, yeah, that was a good purchase. A lot of things that I purchased, I'm glad I did, because it's making the weaving process a lot easier. The blankets, the baby blankets, this is the small one. They finally got washed. The ends are all knotted really good, and I'm going to trim that off. And this small one is just an extra one, because it wasn't the length that I wanted initially. But that's okay, because it'll still be a good blanket. So this is I started this. I might work on this later today. This is supposed to be my mug rug. This section right here is the first. I wanted it to be like what we call the Commanders, used to be the Redskins. For those of you who are not football fans, and I'm not a football fan, but you know. So it was supposed to be like that color combo with the white warp, but when I started it, I didn't like it. I didn't like how it was coming out. So I was like, that's okay. Let's just try it with the red and white. And I'm using this pattern. I should do a video with this too at some point. I'm trying not to swing around too fast because let's see if I can find the front page. I may have taken it off. That's not the pattern. It's kind of hard to do this with one hand because my fingers get so dry. Like, but anyway, like this is the pattern. This is the page that I'm on. This is the second page, and I'll start down here. And so I have 3 heddles. There's 4 shafts. And you just, you know, this is how it's threaded. 4 3 2 1 4 4 3 2 1 2 3 4 1 4 3 2 1, like that. So that's how the warp is threaded through the holes. So like 4 would go through all the slots. 3 2 1. So it would be a hole, and 4 goes through all the slots because that's what it does. This little crazy box right here is like if you're using a table loom or a floor loom, you can do more than one heddle to create your shaft and whatever. So, but this is my samplet. It's okay. It's all right. I'm gonna try to flip this up a little so you can like kind of see the underside of that. There we go. It's kind of hard to see. Oh, wait a minute. Let me try this. There's the outside. Yeah, there we go. That's better. That's the flip side. Trying to see it through the... Can't really see it. So anyway, that is the flip side. So that's pretty cool. All right, so you may or may not notice I have rearranged my room. That table with the warping board used to be where this table is that has all the stuff on it right now. That is because I am starting to get ready for that. That is my 16-inch table loom. I'm not quite ready for it yet, but I did stain it with the honey. What's this stuff called? It's not honey, I'm sorry. It's feed and wax. I got this up in, it smells so good too. Orange oil, it smells so good. When I went to New York and I went up to CC's, that's where I got it. I just got a small bottle because I wasn't sure. And if you're curious about this big fluff of stuff here in this purple bag, this is Gulf Coast native wool. I had got like 2 pounds for like $20. And first I was going to do just one, and it was at the Weaving Guild near where I live in Fredericksburg. And I was like, you know what? It was like, I don't feel like separating it out. That's too much. Let's just, you know, I'll just buy the whole thing. So just little by little, I've been carding, like, because it was washed of the lanolin, but it was kind of dirty. So this bag, what's in the purple bag, I already washed. It's so soft and fluffy. So this was just over 4 ounces, and this right now is over 5 ounces. This needs to be washed. And my plan is to do some dyeing with it. I want to do some solar dyeing because it's hot, it's blazes outside, and not today, actually. Today is okay. I mean, 85 degrees is still hot, but it had been in the 90s. I am in Virginia. It happens. So, yeah. I think that's going to be a project for probably August. I'm thinking at this point. So, yeah, and I already got this dyeing stuff in jars. This is all where my supplies and things are for all of that is down here. And also, this is some Shetland, which was somebody had gave me at that same meeting. And she's like, here, just take some, just take some. I don't know how much she had, but it was a lot. I think I maybe got like maybe a half pound. I wouldn't say it was like a full pound. So I've already spun some of that up. And some other like brown, like natural brown wools, Shetland. This is Rambouillet? I think this is Romney. I believe this is Romney. I forget what this is, but it's super, super soft. I might not even dye that. And I did get more of this because I just love the color. I had some, let me show you. And I am not sure what the heck happened, but it had got completely tangled up. I'm so annoyed about that. I don't know what I did. So what I'm going to do is card this out and then spin it again. So it's not a total waste. This is just some plain wool that I got, from purchasing stuff from different things. And I hope I left the tags on for what that is. I know one of it is Co-op. I know one of these, I think it's this one, I got from Maryland Sheep and Wool. I'm almost positive about that. So, yeah. And then I also had the blue bins over there in the corner where my warping board is. So those bins, I emptied out all this crochet cotton yarn that I got at a yarn swap at my knitting group. And so now they're in containers. For the most part, I have the plain color in one and like the multicolor or stripes or whatever in another. And this is still the yarn that I've been working through for my shawls that I've been making. Some of them. Yeah, I'm still working through that. So this week is probably the first week in several weeks that I have not, in a few weeks anyway, I have not warped up a new project because that blanket is going to be the focus. And then when I'm sick of the blanket, I'm going to get back to the little weave. All right, so now, all right. I did post a short of how I got the yarn off of my support spindles over there, which can also be drop spindles, onto the bobbins using my kickstand. My kick spindle, excuse me. And yeah, so now I'm plying. I just took them up off the floor and using my Kiwi and Super Flyer. This is where we are. I started this yesterday, actually. Yeah, it's going to take a minute. I do know that this one, which is the second go around of the first batch. So there's going to be more of that. It is what it is. So basically, I started off, I have 2 of each. These are 4 ounces each. So I had 2. This I split in half. So this is half. And these are half of each of those. So basically, this is a quarter. No, what am I saying? That's half. And then these are the half. I'm sorry. I had to think about how I was spinning it up. Yeah. And I did all that by hand. And I had to wait for my tension. I had to, my tension thing for the small bobbin size, the regular bobbin size, was broke. So I had to order more, and I actually got extra and another regular size, this thing, because they are not the same size for this flyer. The flyer needs a bigger one. So anyway, yeah, so for the first yarn, hold on. So for this yarn, which was my first one that I did, and I've been on a twill kick. Just reminds me of like a meadow. It's pretty. But I did everything, all of it, by hand. The spinning, the plying, using a drop spindle and all that, because my wheel wasn't working right, and even with the flyer part was fine. I was just struggling with it. So now that I got that fixed and I'm more relaxed, I think I've been getting that plied up with no problem. And I think I am actually probably going to do this second half of the first 3 balls of wool on my spinning wheel. I am, however, still going to use so what I did was this wheel, this bobbin here, I used my blending board, and I had just did like 2 light layers in rows. So I made like stripes that way, and then I made rolags. And this one, I just did them straight. I didn't mix them at all. And it's interesting to see as I'm spinning how, I don't know if you can see that, how it's spinning up. Sometimes it's like the colors end up matching, but this one that I did the rolags with, the color changes much faster. And this one has a longer color change. I think I was kind of going for that look, and maybe didn't quite realize it. I was more like, let me see what happens. And yeah, so far I'm liking it. Yeah. Okay. I know you can't see my face, but you know what it looks like. I actually showed it in this video. Oh, sorry about that. Let's put my thing back. All right, so I'm just gonna do a little bit of spinning, and I'm gonna just share a little something about my life. Nothing too personal. Oh, I just want to show you this cute little thing I got from Snyder Spindle, I believe it was. It was like kind of early on when I first started spinning. Water. And, oh, snickerdoodle. I only took a piece of one my husband made. He's the baker and the cook. Yeah, so I got that from Snyder Spindle a while ago, but comes in handy. You can put it up against the orifice. I just put it wherever I left off for the most part. So this past week was a bit challenging. My dog, oh, hold on. That noise is, let's see if I can show you. These rings, they're adjustable. That's one thing I'm not crazy about. I hate these things. I'm not crazy about them, but it is what it is. So when I'm adjusting it, like moving it up and down, I have to be careful because it does that. It knocks against the wood. That's what that sound was. The other thing too is I was doing, I don't know if you can see that. You probably can't see that too good. When I was doing my art yarn a few weeks ago, yeah, which was kind of hard. It ended up kind of like pulling on that a little bit. I'm sure I was not doing it quite right because it was my first time doing it. So at some point I may need to replace that. It's working right now though, so I'm not going to worry about it. And before I go on about my little pooch down there on the floor, oh yeah, that's what I was doing. Let's see if I can get him in the camera. See him? Oops. There he is. It's kind of hard to, I'm looking at it backwards, so. I'm sucking at this right now, I'm sorry. There's Buster. Anyway, that was terrible. I'm sorry. I'll try to edit that out. He's like, just leave me alone. I'm sleeping. But I'm trying not to. I'm doing really good with pacing myself with the spinning, with the plying. I'll go back the other way. Because before, even with regular spinning, I would spin like I was like in a race, like legit. And I would frequently end up with overspun yarn. And I still get overspun yarn sometimes, the little squiggly things. But it's way, way, way better. And I still just naturally spin. I don't know if naturally is the right term, but just because I'm still kind of new at spinning. I have thick and thin areas, but oh wow. I'm happy with how it's coming out. Oh, this is cool. I'm gonna use my camera so I can see where when I need to advance my little guide there. So anyway, so my friend Buster here, my little doggy. So he ended up so sick last week. We didn't know what was wrong with him. Earlier this year, like in the spring, he ate some yarn. And ended up with like, I knew he had, when he started showing symptoms of something was wrong, he had like gastritis symptoms, like not throwing up, but like watery diarrhea. And I'm a nurse. And so like, I knew something was wrong. I knew he had some sort of gastritis. I didn't know why. He was still eating, still drinking, and just would like, please let me outside. And then if like in the middle of the night, if we didn't hear him get up, he would just handle it in the house. That was not pleasant, but thankfully not on our carpet. So thank God for that. 1 second. So BM is trying to call me. Go away. So we took him to the vet because that went on. It was like getting worse. Oh, jeez, come on. And so we took him to the vet, and while he was at the vet, getting fluids and stuff, because, you know, he was pooping more than he was eating and drinking. And while he was there, he vomited up the yarn. And so when they was like, oh, you can come get him. And so the girl, one of the vet techs, she was like, do you crochet or anything? I was like, yeah, why? And she said, yeah, he vomited up a wad of yarn. I'm like, what? So one time before that happened, I caught him trying to eat a string of yarn. I got it out of his mouth. I'm like, no, Buster. He's right there, and he's actually looking where he had to be shaving for his IV. So I don't let him think he's doing something wrong. So, but yeah, I was just like, no, Buster. So I apparently was, well, I'm just going to own it. I failed to make sure there was no yarn in reach for him to eat or, get up off the floor or whatever. So that is 100% my fault. It's my yarn. So that was a lesson learned. So I've been like trying to be very diligent about like making sure that the yarn specs and strings and things are up off the floor because he could have ended up with an intestinal block from that. Move this forward. And so, and then like I would let him like be in my room, because in this particular room I call my spinning room, I have a beanbag chair, a big one over there that I bought and rarely use because I didn't like it. It's not how I thought it would be. And I got it from Amazon, and to send that thing back would have been a massive headache. So when we got Buster, he was just like, oh, I like this. So I let him in because he likes to be what we call on the perch, look out the window, that sort of thing. You know what doggies do. But after that incident with the yarn for both this room and the weaving room, when I'm home, I would not allow him to be in here alone. So I made another area where he could, downstairs, where he could look out the window if he wanted to. He still could be upstairs, just not in my rooms. So everything was fine. He was doing good in the whole nine. And then what is today? Today is Tuesday. So Tuesday he was fine. He was eating. He was drinking. But every now and then, like I think part of the week before, he would eat his food and just throw it up. Well, one thing with Buster is he has a tendency, especially if it's soft food, to basically inhale it. Like, dude, can you chew your food? Can you chew it? Did you taste it? I just want to know. Did you taste it? Dry food, kibble, he would chew because it's, you know, it's harder food, so he would chew it. Not his favorite, but he would eat it. So on Tuesday, my husband fed him kind of early because he was like, yo, I'm hungry. So he fed him, and I was off that day, and I didn't feed him again until, like, I gave him a little bit of food like at 2 o'clock. I'm trying to think. He didn't throw up that morning. And then I gave him like a little bit of food around 2 o'clock, and he had one little snack a couple of hours after that. And then he needed to go outside. Like, I was going to take him for a walk anyway at this point. So we're talking like at 2 o'clock I gave him like a little bit of food. And somewhere between 2 and 5 o'clock, he had like a little snack. Like a little treat thing. Nothing really big. And so around like 5 o'clock, he started like pacing. I thought he was hungry again. I was like, well, let me just take you for a walk first. And then he started like sniffing the floor, like trying. And my husband said he was going to try to eat a dryer sheet. I'm like, what in the world is wrong with him? Like, that is not him. He's not that dog that would like, oh, I'm gonna eat your shoes and your toys and your everything. That's not him, with the exception of the yarn, the one time. So when we get outside, now he's starting to try to eat the grass. I'm like, and he actually got some in him. I was like, he needs to throw up. Something's wrong, because he does not do that. So I took him to the shortest walk possible, which is a field kind of behind my house, like literally like around the corner. We live near the end of the street. And he got there and he threw up what was his, I guess, the food that I gave him. What I then later realized was bile. And it was like a third, if that much, of a cookie that I had given him, and he brought that up too. And then right afterwards, he's like, okay, I'm ready for my walk now. So then, of course, it was getting ready to storm, so that didn't help. Then he was like, oh, I'm ready for my walk now. And then he was like, I don't know. I don't like this weather. But we walked. He didn't poop or anything like that, so we walked. And then he doesn't like storms like a lot of dogs. He gets, very scared. And, oh, hold on, he's going to bark at, he's feeling better. This is the first time he's barked at the neighbor dog. He's about to go off. Since last week, since before you got sick. You changing your mind? Buster. Hold on. Usually by now, because you can see the dog is literally right across the street, and he usually goes ballistic. But he's still not feeling great. I'm going to get to what all the things that was wrong with him. Buster. That dog would eat him. It's a pit bull. Oh, goodness. So, sip of coffee. Hold on. So, let's see. So that night we get back in the house. He did not want to eat, which is not uncommon when it's about to storm. He doesn't. He won't eat. He's just too scared. So, I don't know if he went down. He actually went downstairs to our basement, which is a finished basement. It's the coolest place in the house. It's all tile floor. And he went on the landing between the main level and the basement, which is unusual. He doesn't normally do that. So, darn it, I went too far. Second. There we go. So then my husband was sitting with him for a little bit, and then he had to go to work, and then I'm trying to think. I also had to go to work too. So he was, we made him comfortable. We made him a bed because he's got literally beds like all over the house. At some point my husband, I guess, set him up all the way downstairs. I don't remember. So I went to bed, and probably about, like 2 o'clock in the morning, 2 o'clock in the morning. I went to bed at probably about 10 o'clock. So about 2 o'clock in the morning, I woke up. I don't know if I heard him, or I probably got up to use the bathroom. I was like, oh, let me go check on Buster, because he usually comes up to our room to sleep. Sometimes he hangs out down in the living room, and we'll sleep down there initially, and then they're not here, and come upstairs. Well, he didn't. So then I went downstairs to check on him, and he wasn't at the bottom of the stairs. And then I checked, sometimes he sits on the carpet, because we have a little part of the floor in the basement with the carpet squares, and we have our gym equipment that sometimes we use. And sometimes he'll sit over there because, instead of sitting on the hard tile floor, because it's cold. And I'm like, he's not here. I'm like, where'd he go? So I checked upstairs. I checked everywhere. So then I went back downstairs because he wasn't on the main level, and he definitely wasn't upstairs. Then I went, and we have a 3-piece bathroom, so it's a walk-in shower, toilet, and sink. And then I went back, and I was like, how I missed it the first time, I don't know. But I think I had noticed, when I came back down the stairs is when I noticed the diarrhea on the bathroom floor. He was in the right room. And then I noticed him in the shower, kind of cowering in the shower. And I was like, it's okay. I wasn't mad at him or anything. I knew he wasn't feeling great, but I wasn't expecting that. So I was like, okay. So while he was still in the shower, I let him stay there. And then I cleaned up the poop. And then he vomited bile in the shower. I was like, oh boy, this is not good. So then I gently turned the water on, because he does not like water. Like a lot of dogs, he won't even run to water, because we have a pond in our at our playground area our little park. He's not like a water dog like that, and like a lot of dogs, a bath is a hard no. So I didn't want to necessarily give him a shower. At that point, I just wanted to get the vomit out of the shower, and just so I just dripped the water on a little bit, and then he was just like, okay, I'm out. So then we go upstairs. I try to make him comfortable, and it was all night. I did not sleep. I just did not go to sleep because I tried to lay down. I went and got some bedding stuff for the couch. I lay down, and I felt like every hour, if either more frequently, I'm not even sure, he was in and out to the backyard to vomit and diarrhea all night. There was times when he would just like lay in the grass. And then, so around the same time from the first situation with the yarn, he was also diagnosed with oh, actually this happened right before the yarn situation. He was diagnosed with spinal disc, like blah 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 blah, degenerative disc disease in his spine, which is common for long dogs. He is a Chiweenie. He's got Dachshund in him for sure, and Chihuahua, and Lord knows what else. So that is not an uncommon problem. So from the frequent running up and down the stairs and the retching and all of that, he aggravated that. So he started walking like Franken dog, because now he's like basically in a big spasm, and he's just hurting. I mean, like he was whimpering. Oh God, I'm trying to cry thinking about it. I had never seen him in so much pain. Even the first time that happened with him, with the spine and everything. And I did have some muscle relaxer for him from the vet, but I was like, he's not holding anything down. I just wanted him to drink, and at some point he even stopped drinking. So at this point, yes, I could have taken him to the animal hospital. That's a 24-hour hospital, but I'm gonna tell you something. That particular hospital did not have very good reviews, and his vet is a lot closer. I like him. I was like, I'm sorry, I'm just gonna have to do a walk-in appointment. So I just, watched him all night long, and we moved from the backyard to the front yard. I just put him on a leash, and I have an extender leash so that like when I go camping or when we're down like at our campsite, we can put him on, attach it to his leash, and he'll have room to walk. Not that I wanted him pooping and vomiting in my front yard. I just did not want him going up and down the 8 steps to the backyard, and plus it's a little steep. So that means there's more weight going on his front legs and stuff. It just was making it worse. So, and I really didn't want him crapping in my house anymore if I could help it. So, or vomit. But then he also started not like that morning, like about 7, he started like kind of drooling and stuff like that, which come to find out is a sign of he could very well have a blockage. Now I didn't know what was wrong with him. That's what I was afraid of. So the vet opens at 9, and I was there when the vet opened, and I was like, I'm sorry to do this, but I have an emergency, and I explained everything that was going on with him. And so he said, let me take a look at him. And he noticed, because you can't help but notice how tense my dog was. And he was even like swollen around like in his front area a little bit from the aggravation from the inflammation, basically. And I said to the doctor, I know. I said, but the problem is all the GI stuff that was going on with him. And he said, okay. So he kept him. He's like, I'm going to give him some fluids. We're going to check his labs. I said, okay, no problem. And at that point, I went home and went to bed. But I did call into work like at 4:00 that morning, because I was like, I can't go to work. I need to take care of my dog. So so he was there all day. I slept majority of the day and then got up, and so I called the vet in the afternoon. They told me to call in the afternoon, like about 1:00 for an update. So I did. And he's like, I'm not sure if, he may have a block, or he may have something else, but he definitely had like some gastroenteritis of some sort. I'm like, yeah, that's for sure. And then I'm trying to think, he didn't do. So he kept him, continued to give him IV antibiotics and some fluids and pain medication. So he said, come and get him about 9:30. Dang it, my yarn just broke. I said, okay. So thank God I have, all I can say is thank God I have pet insurance, because uh, this was pretty expensive, but I got the insurance that covers illnesses, accidents, and his preventive care. And I got it through the ASPC. I think that's what it's called. I got it through them. Now initially, his premium was like $60 a month, and then after the back to back of the the initial spasm incident, which when he was trying to avoid me, um, he he didn't he was trying to avoid me, and that was the first time or second time, I don't remember. One time we collided, and that triggered his pain, and then right after that, I think, was when he did the GI, the first GI thing. So then his premium went up to $80. It's probably gonna be over $100 after this bills. So his first visit was $670. That was for the fluids all day, the IV insertion, the pain medications, however many he got, and um, the antibiotics and however many doses he got. Because he was literally there for over 12 hours, because we didn't leave until like literally 10 o'clock. So he said I might have to, when I pick him up, and he was like, yeah, he definitely has like a gastroenteritis, probably like a diverticulitis. But he's like, let's give him fluids tomorrow, bring him back tomorrow if you can bring him. I was like, I can bring him. So, because I was off the next day anyway, so that would have been Thursday. So then, so we went back. So I took him back, and this time I took him in his car seat bed, so I didn't have to physically pick him up, because between his back, his spine, the muscle spasms, and his gut, which was swollen, he was just in pain. So he gave me pain medicine and antibiotic to give him. So thankfully, when he had to get his well visit and his vaccines and stuff, I watched a girl. I was there actually to help her and hold him. And I saw how she gave him his oral. I was like, oh, I wish I'd known that before, because I had to give him an oral medication before, and it was liquid stuff, and it was not pleasant. So got his medication in him. And then Thursday, we did another day of fluids and antibiotics and pain medication. And he still wasn't better. He still was, when they took his temperature, he still had like watery diarrhea and stuff. And then Friday, he was like, he's still vomiting, he's still pooping, he really needs to have an ultrasound. And he said I need to consult for ultrasound, so I thought I was gonna have to take him somewhere else. But come to find out, he found a technician that could come in. And so finally on Friday, he had the ultrasound that gave the diagnosis of what was going on, because I'm like, I don't know if he's going to need surgery or not. So at this point, let's see, I called out for Wednesday, it was off Thursday. I called my boss, and I was like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to work on, no, I think I called her on Friday, because I was off Thursday, Friday, right? Because I was supposed to work this past weekend. I hope you guys keeping up with my schedule, because I don't know how I can keep up with it sometimes. So I was supposed to work Wednesday, called out. I was already scheduled off Thursday, Friday, because was supposed to work Saturday, Sunday. I rarely ever work a Friday and a Monday on the bookends of my weekend, because that's just too much. I did that before. It's not pleasant. Hold on. Okay, he got that out of his system. And my yarn had broke, but I got it back on. And I just pinch it. I should have probably showed you that. But anyway. So I called my boss on, I actually texted her, and I was like, hey Kim, can you call me? She already knew that I had a pet situation, because when I called out for Wednesday, I told him, I was like, I have a very sick dog and I got to get him to the vet. So they probably like told her, why I was calling out. So I explained to her, and she's like, she goes, I don't want to know. She goes, I can deal with sick people, but not sick dogs. I can't, don't tell me la la la. I was like, Okay. So I just like, she said, whatever you need, because I told her, like, I don't think I'll be able to work this weekend. I don't know what's going to happen with him. And so she found coverage for me, and thankfully, I'm glad I called out when I did, because she was able to find coverage. So we get the ultrasound on Friday. I think it was Friday. Actually, no, I take that back. It was on Thursday. Get the ultrasound on Thursday, and Friday, I don't know, whatever day it was. I can't even keep up. So the good news is that he did not have a blockage. That was the good news. So that means no need for surgery. So praise God for that. However, he had severe pancreatitis, which is very, very painful. And I know so I work on a med surg floor. I don't do bedside nursing. I do discharge planning. So I'm like a nurse case manager. But, we still, I still know with pancreatitis, like antibiotics, resting the gut. In other words, like they don't usually we don't let people eat or drink. They get IV fluids, and pain medication. So the other thing, but the good thing with the pancreatitis is that it was not necrosis. Necrosis basically means something is dead, and that could have. Well, the vet said we might have had another discussion about what the plan would be. And I'm glad it wasn't that. I'm glad it wasn't an obstruction. Another couple that was there waiting to get their doggy back, he had pancreatic cancer, and so he had to have that really hard conversation with them. So the other thing, mind you, now his degenerative disc is all that is inflamed, right? So he's got that. Now he's got pancreatitis, which will be treated with some more fluids, because again, he's not eating and drinking yet, and antibiotics. And his lab levels were like crazy, just crazy. So the other thing is his spleen has an abscess. Actually, the ultrasound technician or doctor or whatever, he's like, I'm not sure if it's a mass or an abscess. So we're going to hope that it's an abscess, because antibiotics will take care of it. Because if it's a mass, that's another conversation that we would have to have. So yeah. So that visit was like $1,205 for everything, because that also included the ultrasound, which was $600. And then so that was, I don't know whatever day that was. So I took him back on Saturday, because again, he's still, I would get the antibiotic in him on Friday, but he still wasn't really interested in eating or drinking. So Saturday morning, I took him back to get more fluids. And when we got to the vet, there was it had rained like the night before. We got to the vet, there was like a puddle of water, and he stopped at the puddle and was like, "Oh, can I drink that?" I was like, "Oh no, you can't drink that." But that was like, good. He's thirsty. He's actually wanting to drink something, because he did not want nothing. I tried, and he was like, "Nope, get that out of my face. I'm not drinking that." So he got fluids again. He's still I don't remember if he vomited. I think he was still vomiting a little bit, And every time they would check his his temperature rectally, that's what they do with animals, he would poop some more. And then when I got him home on Saturday, he was ready to drink, and I tried to give him a little bit at a time, and he was just like dying of thirst. So I was glad about that. But then, of course, well, first of all, as soon as we got home, got up on the porch, and he puked up green bile. It was like the clear see-through. I'm like, lovely. Okay. Thank you for doing that outside and not in my house. And then just was trying to slowly give him water, and he just like more and more and more, like to the point where he was just like, I'm going to go drink water wherever I find it, which is not good because, again, it rained. I didn't want him drinking out of a puddle on the ground and just reverse everything that was done as far as him getting better. So he drank, he ran outside, he puked it all up, and then it's like, okay, we'll start over. So we did that. The doctor also gave me a can of dog food for gastroenteritis, and he was just not interested. He actually didn't really want to eat anything until Sunday, which was cool. So we tried that. And I was supposed to give him amoxicillin, and amoxicillin can really bother your stomach. So I still gave him the initial antibiotic, just because it's like, I don't want him, it needs to be treated. So, go back. So just for Saturday, I still gave him the initial home antibiotic, which I can't remember what it is off the top of my head. And so then Sunday, we finally is like, you know what, let's just boil some chicken, because he just like not eating anything. I mean, he would eat treats. But I'm like, yeah, you need a little more than that, friend. So my husband just boiled some chicken, chopped it up really good, and he's been eating that. And then I've been now switched to his amoxicillin, which would be better for the abscess that he has. Treat that. Hold on. It's been a little tangled here. Where the heck that happened? Usually, yeah, let me do this. Somehow or another I managed to get the two twisted from how I originally had it. There we go. So and then he finally decided, like yesterday I took him on a walk, and that was good. I can still tell, because he needs to like stop and rest, not just because it's warm outside. Oh, Jesus, that did not make it any better. And that was the first time he went ballistic seeing a dog. Now, that might have been the first time he actually saw one since he's been sick, because he really hasn't been upstairs. Actually, today was the first day he actually came upstairs, because of the pain from, his spasms and stuff like that, which has gotten better. There we go. That's how I wanted to go. So thankfully he's getting better, but that was quite the ordeal. So Saturday's bill was like $400 something because he got more fluids, more pain meds, and then he didn't have to get the antibiotics because I gave it to him. So yeah, and then Sunday we didn't have to go to the vet. He wasn't open, but the vet is so nice. He's like, you call me if you feel like he needs like a bolus, like he can give it like under the skin. And I took his IV. The other thing is that he let me take his IV out because I'm a nurse and I know how to take IVs out. That would have been like a 70 something, because the IV stayed in. It can stay in for up to 3 days. Like the fourth day it needs to come out, put it that way. So I took his IV out, so that saved me like $73. And then this doctor, he will tell you like, hey, like this is how much something's going to cost. Like, because, it's expensive, and not everybody has pet insurance. And even with pet insurance, you still have to pay up front and then get reimbursed. So yeah, like one of my, thank God, one of my credit cards, first of all, I don't max out my credit cards, first and foremost. Not that I never have. I certainly have in the past before I was kind of, anyway, doesn't matter. So the one card that has the most credit line on it, with a, that's how I was just like, oh, here we go. But you still have to pay the vet up front and then submit for reimbursement. So I'm going to do all that all at once. I'm going to give the vet time to get all the notes together, because I'd rather just submit because usually what happens is I submit for the reimbursement. They're like, okay, we need the notes. And then I have to get the notes from the doctor. So I'm just going to give him some time, send them an email like, hey, can you please send me the itemized bill with payment and the notes for all of his visits. And then I'm going to submit it to the insurance company. But I really like this vet. Like this one lady my husband met, they were there at the same time, one of the times he took Buster to the vet. And so we live in Northern Virginia, which is, on a good day, an hour from, 45 minutes to an hour from DC. On a good day. When I say good day, I mean like the traffic is not ridiculous. So this lady, from wherever she lives, which is not in DC, it's like somewhere up in Maryland, she will travel all the way down. And depending on the time of day, like it could take her easily an hour to an hour and a half, or even 2 hours to get to the vet for her pet. She's like, so he is that good. And I just appreciate him. Like, this is how much it's going to cost. Like, it's up to you. What do you want to do? So when not Sunday, but Monday, we stopped by. He told me to bring him by. And, come here, Buster. Buster. Hold on a second. Let me go see what the heck he's doing. And I was like, oh, he's eating, he's drinking. I don't think we need a visit. So, hold on. Sometimes he just likes my living room better, and he will claim the spot in front of the closet, or in the closet when it's a storm. If those doors are open, he's like, yeah, I'm going in there to hide. But yeah, so it's been quite the ordeal. And then thankfully I was already scheduled off, because I can do my own schedule, which is nice. So as much as I can, I schedule 3 days in a row off. And thankfully I was off Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So tomorrow's Wednesday. Today's Tuesday. So I can make sure he's getting his medication and just, continue to keep an eye on him. And he's doing so much better. Because normally he's home, he's good, I don't know how he's going to feel when I go back to work. He's probably not going to be very happy about it, but Mama got to pay the bills, yeah? Got to work. Got to buy more wool and yarn and stuff. No, I really don't have to, but... So that's been my adventure for this last couple of days. But he's doing so much better. I'm so happy, and that's all I can say is that I'm just really, really happy. And some of the things that has kind of brought me, just kept my peace of mind, besides listening to God's word and just like weaving and spinning, because I'm focusing on this and not worrying about him. Yeah. So it's been 59 minutes and 5 seconds. And this is a very long video. I hope it's okay. If you like this video, please feel free to give me a thumbs up. Thank you for all of my subscribers, and thank you for watching if you're not a subscriber. And thank you for spending with me. So, till the next time, have an awesome day. Happy spinning, happy weaving, happy knitting. Oh, I'm still working on my gloves, but my mittens, by the way. They're coming along. I'm ready to close up the fingers on the first one. I don't know why Alexa is talking to me. Bye.